is making the same mistakes, but Uncle Sam's on Mars, and no one down here knows.
I'm Jordan Rouse. I'm the CEO of Set to Close. I'm here with our CRO, Julio, and we're just going to be diving into these topics today through and through. And so, a company owner, you want to instill, or a leader, you want to instill, how do I show our people how we're going to lead them to the promised land? We're going to stay alive. Their jobs are going to be safe because everyone's feeling the turbulence. And the way is adaptation now, putting in systems that can grow with you in perpetuity, having the right CRMs, the right ERPs, having the right pieces to add to your, let's say, architecture or your tech stacks to be able to grow with you. What companies are cutting edge? Which ones aren't going to make it? How do you select the right partners? Man, these are questions we hear every day and all the time. And it's like, at the same time, as is it too much to chew on, and people are going to have some dissonance in between the answers. So how do you build something that's actually usable and you can put into some form of frequency in your company? Gosh, like just talking about it, I'm like, that's a lot, right? That's a lot to solve and a lot to do, but we have to. There's no time for complacency at the moment. And anybody watching this, if you're complacent, you're like, I'm going to do it in 6 months. Good luck. Good luck. 50% of your customer base could be gone in 6 months because of how fast AI is moving and what that next step is and how that's going to look. Now, Julio, as you kind of listen to that piece, I know that there's some practical things. A lot of people are coming on here. How do I practically move? Like, hey, this is a lot to digest. I can't do a full system rebuild right now, or I can't think about an overall process. What are some cool, smaller tools that you are finding that are making some difference in your day-to-day efforts?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great question because I'm looking at them every day and I'm just floored. And like as you mentioned before I jump into that, like the technology, like the life cycle is going so quickly now, right? Like if you think that you, like you said, wait it out for a bit, it's not going to happen because it's now you think you're going to be an early adopter. You think you might be somewhere in the middle. Guess what? You're going to be pushed right to the end and you're going to be a laggard. It's not going to work. So that's why I'm personally looking into tools today that can help me when the time comes to jump into something bigger and look at how a full tech stack build out looks like. But right now, some of the tools that are helping me a lot have been, well, for example, my email AI reply tool, which is nice. Not going to throw out any names at the moment, but I am using it and it allows me to reply to an email by just a click of a button and it matches the tone of the sender. Right. So if the sender is, let's say, a business or it's casual, whether it's business or whether you want to decline like a meeting, right? You click the appropriate tone. It takes that tone and formulates 3 separate emails. You get to choose the one that best represents the response that you wanted to put out there. And they're very, very well written. You can train it with your own writing. And it saves me probably an hour a day easily. And that's just what I've experienced with that specific tool. When you count some of the other ones I'm using, my time has been saved easily by 3 hours a day. At 3 hours back, do I use it wisely? I don't know. That's a different story. That's a question for another day. But yes, I am using the tool for email. I'm using the Humantic, which you put out there earlier, Jordan, which was the AI tool for personalities, which is fantastic. It's made communicate. That saves me so much time for researching. Like that stuff that I used to spend hours doing, looking up a company, an individual, trying to find out what their personality type was, maybe not even knowing until I got to a discovery call to try and suss it out to be able to determine, do I think this person's a this or a this, right? And the DISC assessment. Now going in knowing, like almost like with 99% accuracy beforehand, it allows proper planning, things to be done in a way that I've never seen before from a preparation standpoint as well. Outside of that, content, I mean, as a marketing person and someone who puts out content quite regularly, that's been game changed for sure. Like looking at just ChatGPT, for example, and a number of other ones, the ability for it to help you formulate content based on taking 2 months to write a white paper can now be, I don't know, maybe drilled down to maybe 2 weeks. If you're going to gather data and actually put in your own data sets, do some surveys, that might take a little bit longer. But that has changed the game for me substantially. And I'm just going to continue to add on to that like personal stack of mine until I feel that I'm as efficient as a cyborg. I think that's my goal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what we are. So funny enough, internally, and everyone has access to this. So ChatGPT is the absolute game changer. And now with the launch of Google and Gemini and the different things that are there, or their Bard application, however you want to call it, there is a huge opportunity. But one of the big ones that we take advantage of is that there's these nodes that you can create, or GPTs for lack of better words, and they can learn a specific part of your business. So it's our sales strategy that we've conveyed to people in the past and things like that. It can learn your tactics of how to move through and then suggest to your salespeople, hey, you should use this in this inference and do this. So you can have a marketable action or response that drills down in, like, for example, they did this with me. They took all my sales calls that we were allowed to upload. And then we put them in, and it showed our salespeople, hey, what would Jordan say if we were in this scenario? He'd say X, Y, Z in this order. And it allowed duplication of high-end account executive quickly, right? Julia, like when you first came into our organization, barely 6 months ago, you came up to speed so quickly because he was actually the founding guy who said, hey, we should do this. And we jumped in and started moving these before GPTs existed with another program. And we created this like Jordan bot, and he'd get all these answers out of it and be able to train his vernacular very quickly through my years of selling in the industry. So from a training perspective, from a duplication perspective, from understanding how to create collateral for, our market types, this has been an absolute game changer. And if you're not recording your meetings using like a Fireflies or a Fathom or, the different technologies that are out there, you need to, because this is going to allow you to upload all this thought, all this time that you spend, and allow you to extrapolate what's good, what's working, what's not, why it's working. And so you brought to another topic, and this is bringing outside of GPTs and creation for strategy and content and everything. And you guys aren't into that, for $20 a month, you can have like advanced chat GPT. You go get it, you start exploring GPTs, upload your data, and see if you can reproduce yourself to a 90% theorem. It's going to save a ton of time for you.
Thanks for watching, and keep removing those revenue roadblocks. If you want more videos like this, follow our channel for fresh, new content every day. Check out our RevOps playlist, or how about this video chosen just for you? See you next time.